The Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, 2001. The Stockholm Conference is the most recent document on persistent organic pollutants because they are growing in environmental attention in present times. The conference is usually identified as the key event in the emergence of sustainable development, and is conscious of the need for global action on persistent organic pollutants. This convention was held in May of 2001 in Stockholm, Sweden, and it was held for the safety of human lives from persistent organic pollutants. It was a document, along with many others, that had many mainstream ideas on this sustainable development, and it recognizes, recalls, and acknowledges these documents and the ones that were prior to it and the ones that happen now, and what they had to say about sustainable development on persistent organic pollutants. The conference recognized that there is health concerns, mainly in developing countries, from the exposure of these persistent organic pollutants, and it impacts on people, reproduction, and this being on their future generations. It was so significant that there was over 90 nations that had signed this Stockholm Conference. Some of the issues that were in the Stockholm Conference were ones that were how to address differences in countries and their capacity to comply with the treaties, the conferences, and the rules that they laid down on persistent organic pollutants. Another one is how to address scientific uncertainty and how to design a regime that can help both the needs there are now and that there will be in the future. This convention recognizes pollutants that are ones that possess toxic properties and resist degradation and bioaccumulation. That are transported through the air, water, and migratory species over and across international boundaries into other countries. It also does recognize ones that are deposited far from their place of release, where they accumulate in terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. The convention requires that state parties are to either prohibit and take necessary steps to eliminate or restrict the production, the use, and the import and export of these pollutants that the convention recognizes. There is an exception, and that is the convention itself imports the chemicals for reasons that are to environmentally dispose of them properly, or if there is a use for these specific pollutants that the convention has approved. The convention also puts regulations on how the persistent organic pollutants can be managed in a safe and environmentally friendly way, and also as in an economically efficient way. The convention states that state parties need to make a plan, and that this plan needs to be followed, and it should be reviewed and updated as needed. The developing countries are also assisted in the Stockholm Conference. The state parties are to cooperate in providing a timely and appropriate technical assistance to developing country states and their parties, and those that are also in economic transition. The types of assistance that they are to provide to these countries were technical assistance for capacity building and to help in the transferring of technology. The Stockholm Conference, it made state parties have to share information on reduction and elimination of persistent organic pollutants and their production and their use and release. They also have to discuss things such as alternatives in persistent organic